what it's about. But Michelle and Janica, do you guys want to come up here with me? So we have Michelle Scapacci and Janica Smith. Everyone knows they're speaking at our event here, and a lot of you know that Michelle and Janica took over from Jan B. King. Jan passed away this year earlier, and she was a real supporter of IVAA and a real motivator and innovator in the industry in getting authors' assistants out there. One of the things that I think is really cool that she did was, I find a lot of times you'll commonly hear people say, oh, I'm just a generalist. Well, to me, that's like just saying, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. And I don't know about it when you guys were a stay-at-home mom, but I think we friggin' rock. When you're a stay-at-home mom, you should not be ashamed of that. And I don't think you should say, oh, I'm just a generalist either. And I think Jan helped a lot of generalists develop a really cool niche as author assistants. And I hope that anyone that took part in the presentation that these two did here this week really saw the value in that. You know, you're not looking for people that can, code HTML and stuff like that. So I think it's a really neat thing that she had done and created. And Jan was always a really good supporter of IVAA. So when she passed away, a few people within the board were kind of talking because there were donations that could happen and stuff like that. And we said, we'd really like to do a little more. So what we did was we decided that we would talk to these two lovely ladies and see if they were interested in creating a joint scholarship program. And the scholarship program is going to be given out annually, and it's called the Jan B. King IVAA Memorial Scholarship for Authors Assistants. And what we're going to do is every year, people can apply, and when they win, we go through a process, which is what we did this year. They have to put in an application, let us know why they want to be an author's assistant, what it could do to their business, what it could do for them. Part of the award is not only the scholarship for the program, but also a one-year membership to IVAA, and a free ticket to the IVAA Online Summit. So it's a value of about $800, I think $850 we figured out for the package. And so we had our applications. We did have a few this year. This was really late in getting prepared, and I want to thank you both and Yvonne, because the four of us were the people who sort of went through the applications. We did get 4 applications, and we did make a decision on who would be getting the award. We will have a plaque for them that they'll get, and Janica and Michelle will go out there and get them registered. IVAA helps pay for part of the scholarship and gives them the membership in the online summit as well. So before we announce who the winner is, I'll just let the two of you say a couple words.
Okay, a lot of y'all did know Jan, but for those of you who didn't, she was an amazing supporter of the International Virtual Assistants Association. She was a supporter of what we could do. She started her program when she had authors that were coming back to her and asking her for help to get their books published. And she recognized that VAs had a lot of administrative skills that with some specific training in the publishing industry could be huge helps to her authors. And so she put together this amazing course. I took the course. I was I think I was the second, maybe the third class that took the course. And I've never taken anything that had so much content and so much value, and it completely changed my business and it changed my life. It's given me the opportunity to work with amazing authors. I've met people that I could never imagine I could meet. I got to work with Eileen Rockefeller, who wrote a book. She was the first one of her generation to talk about the life of what it was like to be a Rockefeller. I've gotten to work with Martha Beck, who's one of Oprah's coaches. These are people that I could never in a million years imagine that I would ever even be able to email, much less actually work with. But what I want you to know about Jan is that she was always there to help and support, and that it wasn't just about writing a course and selling a course. Her courses, the course was $600, and you have lifetime access to the material. I just don't see courses like that out there. It wasn't about making the money, it was about giving us a platform to stand on, to build careers, and to help authors, and to be the people that can move things along for authors. She was always there to answer questions and support, and when she knew that she was not going to be available to continue the salon, we talked a lot about thank you. We talked a lot about how important the legacy of what she had built was. And it was important to her that that get continued on. She actually had a publishing services company approach her to buy the program for a great deal more than we purchased it for. And their purpose for purchasing the program was to put us out of business because they wanted access to the authors. And she said, no, I'm not going to do it. She was ready to let the program die rather than to pass it on to those people. And so for us to take the program on was a stretch, to say the least. It's a little scary. It's huge shoes to fill, but it felt like it was the thing to do. It's changed our lives, changed our businesses, and we feel a commitment to carrying on that legacy. And when I was asked, when she did pass, she was very private about her illness and didn't share it with a lot of people, and so a lot of people were actually quite shocked to hear that she was gone. And the family asked me to send notifications out to the community. And so when I sent the notifications out, I got the floods of emails coming back talking about what an impression she had made. And I think a lot of times we don't know what an impression we make until after we're gone. And so I've shared that with her family, and lots of people were looking for what's an appropriate way to honor that. And we talked about flowers. The family came up with suggestions of making donations to the cancer treatment center where she had treatment. And all of that was great, but none of it really felt quite right. And when IVAA approached us and said, what about a scholarship? It was like, yes, of course, that's exactly what works to honor Jan. And I want you to know that her family knows about this and that they're very touched that this organization, that they know that this was an important thing to Jan and are very happy that this is carrying on. So thank you all for being a part of that.
Do you want to announce the name of the winner?
Make me say that name. Yeah, right. So we're pleased to announce that the winner for this year is someone who has been a part of IVAA in the past, and the award goes this year to Colleen Wheatmarsh.
So we'll be getting in touch with Colleen. She actually doesn't know, so Lori, I don't know if you want to take a picture of that and post it on Facebook. And that's how she'll find out. So I think this, I know from the board, I think this is one of the best things we did this year. I think it was pretty cool. And we literally pulled it together in 2 or 3 weeks and got some applications. So it is something I'm not going to say that I would tell you to wait till next year to apply for this to take the course, because I don't think that's necessarily the thing to do, but I think it's great that every year we'll be able to cross-promote this between both the business for the Virtual Assistant Authors Training Academy and IVAA, and make sure that somebody who's deserving of it, who can bring something extra to the business, gets a scholarship. So next up, we have the Volunteer of the Year Award. And I've kind of moved these around a little bit between how we've done them in the past for a particular reason that I'm not going to explain why. I have to get my notes. So the Volunteer of the Year Award with IVAA, the candidates for this award are regular members, and the board of directors are eligible for this award. It's an award that's chosen by the president, and this is one of the things that I like the least about IVAA, is that they make you do this alone. I've actually had the privilege of doing this 2 years in a row because of changes that had happened earlier last year. But the Volunteer of the Year Award goes to someone who steps up year after year, sometimes in multiple departments, and is someone you take notice of for giving a lot of their time to IVAA. And sometimes I find that you won't necessarily notice some of these people. We looked through a lot of the volunteer names, and I talked to the board and trying to decide, who would be good candidates. And the person that I chose this year to receive the award is someone that not many of you would probably immediately think of, because they're not someone that are up in the front lines. They're not at the event planning meetings every 2 weeks, or every week. I can't remember what you guys were doing, Grace. A lot of meetings. So they're not actually somebody that's really, you're probably going to say right away that you may even know who it is. But there's someone that's been doing something for the past couple of years, over and over and over again, and we've gotten some fabulous comments about what she's doing. She's kind of running under the radar for what she does do for us in her way, but she actually, in doing what she does, reaches more potential members, I think, than a lot of us do. And she's been the reason why several people have joined IVAA. And she is guiding them. She shares her exuberant love of IVAA every time she's talking with them. And her enthusiasm is catchy, yet unbeknownst to a lot of people within our association. In doing what she does for us, she's providing mentorship to the members and other people that aren't members. And it's her way of simply being like this that kind of makes her a secret ambassador to IVAA. And we really wanted to just say thank you for her constant dedication and time in helping all of our members out that she does reach out to. And this year's award for the 2015 Volunteer of the Year Award, someone who couldn't be here with us today, and I was kind of sad about that, because it's really fun to see the jumping and the screaming and the excitement. But it's Regina Gonzalez. And Regina's been helping out with the coffee chat. She's on them every couple weeks. She's talking and chatting to them. And it's really interesting to see what she does. The comments that we get back from the people that are on these coffee chats are just phenomenal. She's there goal setting with them and doing all this neat stuff. And it's just really interesting to see. So we just really want to say thank you. So we will be sending her a plaque in the mail. We'll also be posting this slide on our website. And she'll be getting all of that stuff, so she will know about it. But again, Lori, you might want to post that so she has a clue that she's won. Oh, Yvonne's just seeing names for the first time too, I think. So the next award that we're going to give out is an award that was created a few years ago. It is called the Joey Wong In Memoriam Award. This award was an award that was created in memory of a VA named Joey Wong, who came from Hong Kong and attended the 2010 Phoenix Summit. She came all the way there, and a lot of them remember her so much because she was a lot of fun, and they were impressed with her dedication in traveling all the way from Hong Kong to come to the live summit. And she just had a lot of enthusiasm, energy, and she was a vibrant person. And I think it was within the year after that summit, there was an accident back home and she passed away. And so IVA wanted to do something because everyone that had been to that summit had really remembered her. So we have the Joey Wong In Memoriam Award, and the way that this award is nominated and chosen, the board of directors is not eligible for this award, but what the board does is puts forth a few names. We carry it down to 3 names, and then the board of directors votes on who they think is the most deserving person for this award. So the award is really intended for it's chosen from our list of volunteers. So you do need to be a volunteer to be nominated for this award. And the award is given to somebody who sort of makes some distinction in what they're doing, and really, the board of directors takes notice of what you've done and your dedication to the association. And this year we had 3 nominees for this award. The first one was Chris Gerster, who's been helping out in our membership department for many years and assisting with that area of the department. I think she used to help answer sometimes the phones when we were doing that type of thing and communicate with members, and then now it's just sort of coordinating membership dates, who's in, who's out, do we need to call to renew, things like that. Teresa Morinega was also nominated for this award because she also, not only is she on our paid staff in our treasurer's department, but she's been a volunteer for many years on the web department too, and she helps a lot. We do a lot of web hosting. It's one of your member benefits. If you don't want to pay for web hosting, IVA has this part of your membership. You can save probably about $100 a year by getting hosting. She helps out a lot in that area and keeping track of who's got the hosting, who doesn't, helping set it up. And this year in particular, probably in the last couple months, she was helping it a lot because we had some changes that had to happen with the transfer. So Teresa was our nominee number 2, and then nominee number 3 is Marilyn Stafford, who is here in the back of the room. And Marilyn was nominated for her dedicated support to the IVA Online Summit and the Live Summit as a volunteer for several years. And I can attest to this because Marilyn was part of the Online Summit Planning Committee when I was on it for the first year. And we had a speaker committee of people, and all of a sudden one day, all of them dropped out and they couldn't help anymore. There was a variety of reasons, family, other things, and Marilyn just kept on going and kept on with it, and I mean, she did a fabulous job. And she's been helping with, I think, both the online and the live summits this year as well. So we took these 3 names of the nominees for this award, and the IVA board has voted, and we are very pleased to present this year's Joey Wong Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Bye. Anne, are you leaving? Oh, thank you. Have a safe trip. So the last award that we have is a Member of the Year award. And this award is also, the board of directors are eligible for this award. The candidates must be a regular member in good standing, and don't have to be a volunteer for this award. So keep that in mind, because one of the things, just having had to do this 2 years in a row, that we struggle for is sort of going out there and looking for an award winner that we may not know about. So this award does not have to be a volunteer within IVA. One of the comments about the award, or sort of the description as to what the award's all about, is someone who's gone above and beyond or accomplished a big feat in their life or business. So it's not restricted to having done IVA volunteer work, things like that. And it's chosen by the president. And I have to tell you, it was really hard, and I would just like to say that I know for next year it would be fabulous for Yvonne. If you guys know people out there that would be good for this award to be nominated for, please speak up and share their names, because we're always looking for people to make sure that we recognize who we can. So one person has been a constant presence within IVA ever since she showed up at a summit in Philadelphia a few years ago. She was determined to start her own VA business and make a go of it. And I always remember talking with her there and hearing the story about her current boss, and how they were really giving her doomsday thoughts about this idea she had about starting a VA business. And they were really convinced that she was making the worst mistake of her life by trying to go out on her own and start as a VA and get out really under, from what I could describe as controlling people. So that was in 2013. And 2 years later, she now has a thriving VA practice. She is one that it's a VA practice that's full. I'm not sure that there's much more room for her to add people in there. And she's well respected as a VA in our industry and gives back as a volunteer to IVA as well in what she does. She's a very kind person. She has extremely soft-spoken words, and she's always a treat to hear her talk. Because she just always has something fun to say whenever you do talk to her. And she's always laughing and giggling. And I'm so proud that she got to say to those people, screw you. Because sometimes I think you really need to do that. They were wrong, and I think it was one of the best decisions she made to leave her job and do what she did. And I'm really pleased to present this award to Lori Apple.
I guess I just want to sort of leave you,
I just want to leave you with a couple thoughts. We've been struggling and talking about, how do we get everybody to come to IVA? We get like 10% of our membership here at the news, which I think is kind of sad in some ways. But everybody that comes here understands the value. I mean, I look at, Desiree and Lori. You guys are really good examples, Ramona as well. You're people that have really come to these and have made a change in your life. We've already heard, I don't know if is Kathy Cooley still here? I think she left. Kathy Cooley, I think she bought her ticket, about 8 weeks ago, Grace? And she said she will never ever miss one of these again. She said she just can't believe what has happened to her being here. She goes home and she goes at noontime time every day and she calls her husband, and she said she continually tells him, how great the people are here and what a difference they've made in her life, and that she knows that she's going to make the change that she needs to. And I think that's what happens when you come to something like this. And I think having gone to sales conferences and other kinds of conferences, I've gone to conferences when I was in business or when I worked for a bank. There are things that happen here that really change and affect your lives. You know, I know you've all heard the story of the first time I went to a VA conference. I know you all have different stories like that out there. You know, I think I talked to Myrtle, and when I was telling her my story about doing what I did and tracked down all the money to Grace so we could talk about it in that expert of the month about why we should go to a live event. A third of my income over my lifetime of my business came from one event. 1/3. I mean, if you go and you track it down, you can see the difference it makes. And I think if you go home and sort of look at what has happened to you because you came to one of these conferences, you'll see what it can do in dollars, and then look at it from the non-tangible stuff, from the friends that you make, from the people that you make, from the supporters, the colleagues. You know, my friends at home don't get what I do at all, nothing. And they ask me, how do you sit home alone and work all day? Anybody out there think they work alone? Because I do, but I sure don't. You know, if I need to Skype Patty or Yvonne or well, Tracy doesn't Skype, we text. You know, Ellen, like it's there. Mimi, I mean, you people are in my day every life, and I might not see you except for once a year at a summit or for some other reason that we might get to meet. But I think what these events do is really change people's lives, and somehow we need to get the other 675 people in our association to understand the difference that that can make. So I really just want to encourage you to share what you've done. I know for Emma in the marketing department, she would like video and written testimonials from each one of you that we're going to put on the IVAA website, we're going to share on social media, and it's marketing for your business. Because I'm pretty sure that every one of you doesn't have as a good SEO ranking on the internet as IVAA does. So make sure you get those testimonials there. We'll promote you in the newsletter, we'll promote you in email promos, on the IVACast, whatever we can do to help you by telling people what these conferences do for you and make it